In this last additional tips video, I just want to talk again about a few more things that you may or may not know that you have access to in SolidWorks. We've already talked a little bit about some additional tips in the sketching environment, and sketching is the most important thing that you can spend time on. You need to be very good at sketching before you can ever make a very good model. We talked about lots of different ways that we can really access information, where we can manipulate our user interface, make our templates, and customize our user experience whenever we're dealing with SOLIDWORKS. But there are a few more things that I want to expand on and make sure that we understand. In your Tools menu, all the way at the top, you have a folder that's called SOLIDWORKS Applications. Now, inside here, you have your SOLIDWORKS Explorer, which is basically like your files, Windows Explorer. But below it, you have Sustainability, Costing, and Part Reviewer. Now, sustainability is something that SOLIDWORKS has added in the past couple years that allows you to track things like the environmental impact of your products, and especially in regards to changing materials. For instance, if you're designing a product to fit a certain application, and let's say that it's a bracket that holds something up. Let's say if I made this out of a bent sheet metal part that's welded, how does that affect things as opposed to doing an injection molded part? And you can pick your materials, you can pick where they're coming from, and you can really take a look at not only how the changes is going to impact the price of your part, but also the overall environmental and global impact. So it's a pretty cool thing that SolidWorks added. There's a lot of customizability to it, but there's also a lot of preloaded data in there that can help you get that information quickly. Costing is something that, again, has been around for a couple years. I think it came in the same time as sustainability. Allows you to do a lot of cool things with figuring out how much your products cost and how much changes to your products will cost. Now, it's not as simple as this part costs $5 and you multiply it out and this is what it's going to cost. It actually lets you go in and physically put in price per machining operation, if you're drilling extra holes, if you're machining, how much your basic stock sizes are, if it's machined and then anodized, or if it's coated a different way and painted. There's a lot of flexibility in there. So costing is a pretty cool tool. Takes a little bit of setup work, but the default templates and the default information in there is really handy. And it does a really good job of collecting information and understanding information about your models, and allows you to get a very good idea, even if it's not 100% accurate to your specific instance on what your parts are going to actually cost. It lets you know the difference in design changes and how they will affect the cost downstream. So pretty cool. Part Reviewer is something that has been around for a little while and allows you to quickly step back through your model and figure out how it was created. Part Reviewer is often used if you're sent a model. If somebody sends you a model and you need to figure out how it was made, it's just a way to go back through the feature tree by using play and fast forward and back without having to manually step through each. Express products. Inside here, there are a few tools that are very important. We have Design for Manufacture Express, Simulation Express, and Flow Express. Both the Sim and Flow Express were covered in an O'Reilly series where we looked at overall projects. We looked at a few examples, how you can set up both of those tools and really help your design process. Now, if you want to check out that series, please go to the O'Reilly website where you can find the series on both Sim and Flow Express bundled together. And that way you can get an understanding of those tools and whether or not you need to go to the full simulation or full flow package. DriveWorks Express, again, pretty cool type of software. Express is limited, but there are two other versions. There's DriveWorks Solo that allows you to do quite a bit. And then there's a DriveWorks version that allows full web integration and allows you to drive SolidWorks from a web interface and configure your products. So if the products you're designing are ultimately customer driven, if the customer gets to decide the sizes and the different aspects of it, or if you just have products that are easily configurable like that, makes a lot of sense to take a look at DriveWorks Express and then also to see if maybe DriveWorks Solo, the next step up, is something that you might want to use. As we go down the line, the last thing I really want to talk about is defeature. Defeature is pretty cool because it allows you to take your designs and remove maybe some features if you just want a very simplified basic model, or even if you want to protect proprietary data. So think about an example where you might have an automotive transmission, where you have all the information on the inside, the hydraulic passages, the valves, the springs, the ball bearings, any valving, all that information that if you're making an assembly and you really just need to mount a motor up to the transmission and figure out where your drive line is, you don't need all this stuff on the inside. This allows you to quickly and easily make an external surface model, or it's a solid part, but it makes an external model of what you need. all the information that you need, the mounting points, where your drive line is going to be, external splines for the drive shaft, and so on, without having to have all that internal detail and data in there. So dfeature, again, it's one of those tools that not a lot of people use or not a lot of people know it's there. But if you're exporting your data and you're trying to protect the proprietary internal data, or you're just trying to get a simplified model, check out dfeature. It can be pretty cool. So that sums up the additional tips that I wanted to give you. I know it's not really a set of tips, but it's really just hoping that you'll expand out of just the basics and explore some of the other things that SolidWorks has to offer, because there's really a lot out there and we've just scratched the surface. There's dozens of different products. If you go onto the SolidWorks website, they offer so many different things that you can use at your disposal. And there's really no limit. So if you have a specific niche in SolidWorks, the default install isn't covering what you want, just take a peek. Maybe there's something out there that they offer that handles your specific instance. And if not, you always have the available option to do API integration and program your own add-in or application to do whatever it is that you need.